Hello, friends. It is pumpkin bread season time, and my house has been smelling amazing. From the beginning of September until right before Thanksgiving, I make pumpkin bread almost every single day because I visit a school. I visit schools. I teach these little science lessons. It's so much fun. So I'm in the middle of all these fall lessons, pumpkin circle, more than moccasins. I do a bat and an owl program. And so I always bring all of the teachers and the front office staff and all of the aides and just everybody a loaf of pumpkin bread. So, like I said, every evening it is a busy time around here. So I thought I would just bring you guys along. I've got one more batch to make. And if you've been with me for a little bit, you've seen me make this pumpkin bread, but we have so many new followers since last fall that I thought I'm going to make this again. Okay, so it's really, really simple. That's what I love about this recipe. First of all, you're going to preheat your oven to 350. I already have cracked 5 eggs. So you put your 5 eggs in there. I'm going to bring you guys down just a little bit so you can see. Is that good? Okay, then you're going to add 1 1/3 cups of oil. And then we're going to put in 1 can, just the 15-ounce can of pumpkin. And I really do like the Walmart brand. Of course, you can really just use whatever, but I do like the Walmart brand. So there we go. And then I'm going to put my little top on. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. A lot of you will ask me about this mixer too, and this is a Bosch mixer. I love it so much, and I'm going to turn this on. Let you look. Okay. Now next, you just add your flour and your sugar. And so it calls for 2 cups of flour, 2 cups of flour. And some of you will be a little bit worried because it looks like it's a liquid measuring cup, and it is, but also it does dry. And so I just use this all the time. It works for me. Now next, I like to put in sugar. So I've got 2 cups of sugar. A little bit more. All right. Pour this right over the top. And then my next favorite thing about this recipe is then it's just 1 teaspoon of all of the next ingredients. So I like to buy a fresh box of baking soda every fall. Like right before I do my pumpkin bread, I make sure that I have a fresh box because I want to make sure that this rises correctly. And then I'm going to be using 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm going to put in 1 teaspoon of salt. And then we're going to do 1 teaspoon of nutmeg. And that looks like about 1 teaspoon of nutmeg in there. There we go. All right. And then let's mix this up again. I'll put my little top on. Okay, I'm going to scrape the sides. I like to scrape these little sides. I know you guys do too. Let's scrape those. Turn this back on. Now I am going to talk to you a little bit about this Bosch mixer. It is a little bit expensive, okay? Um, but I feel certain that it's going to last forever. My mom had one when I was growing up. She still has it. And so she's probably had it 40 to 45 years. What I love is you can see right into it. It doesn't, I have a KitchenAid. I love my KitchenAid, but you know, that little arm kind of gets in the way. And this, you can look right in it. All right, next, here is the wonderful ingredient. Okay, this is what makes this recipe so good. You can either put 2 of the small boxes of instant vanilla pudding. This is the family size, so I'm just going to put 1 of the family size instant vanilla pudding, and this is what makes it so moist, you guys. So let's turn this on. Whoops. Okay. All right, I'm going to take and scrape my sides once again and then turn it on for another 30 seconds. Okay, I think that's great. Knock these beaters off. I'm going to scrape the sides again, and then I'm going to show you the pan that I love. Now, we will be sure and link all of this so that you can have it. Let me clear a few things away, though, real quick. All right. I love this pan, and as you can see, it is well loved. Well loved. All right. So then I usually spray this over my sink just because I like to keep that oil, like, you know, contained in the sink. But I want you guys to be able to see. So you just spray it lightly. And then I have a 1/4 cup measure. I will spray this also, just because it makes it easier when the batter comes out. Let me move this over a little bit. Okay. I'm going to get it so you guys can see. All right, we ready? And then I just do a heaping 1/4 cup. And this makes 2 of these, and sometimes more. Just depends on how full you fill this. It will make 5 of like the medium-sized loaf fans. I'll get those out and show you that in just a second. Okay. Now let me get the other one. Now we'll spray this also. And I've shared this story before, but I'll share it again. Well, I've been taking pumpkin bread. I said that earlier at the very beginning. I've been taking pumpkin bread to the schools for years and years and years and years. And the year that that Daryl had a stroke, my little brother also was diagnosed with lung cancer. And that year, he wanted to take his family to see some snow because he lived in Florida. And I thought to myself, I wonder if I could help him. And I knew I could give him some money, but then I thought, what if I do a pumpkin bread fundraiser? So I did a pumpkin bread fundraiser, and my sweet, amazing friend Angela Deaver, who works in the office, she and I worked really, really hard, and we made pumpkin bread. We made probably 400 or 500 loaves, and we sold all of them. We pre-ordered them. We had people pre-order, and we sold thousands of dollars. A lot of people, well, we sold them for $5, and then people were really generous and they donated a whole lot more. And for that, I was so, so grateful. And at the end of the day, I remember having a conversation with my brother, and he was so grateful. And he was so amazed that so many people who did not even know him would be willing to give so much to his family. And unfortunately, my brother, so he was let's see, Daryl's stroke was in April. My brother was diagnosed with lung cancer in May, and he passed away at the beginning of December. And so he was not able to take that trip with his family. But this pumpkin bread, it just has always meant so much to me. He passed away in 2014, the same year that Daryl had a stroke. So I can't believe it's been 11 years ago. And after that, I had a pumpkin bread fundraiser in his honor for several years after that, until it got to be so big that I couldn't keep up with the demand. But maybe someday I'll figure out a way to do that again, because it was really, really sweet. We did pumpkin bread fundraisers for other families that were in need after my sweet John passed away. So now it's time to put this in the oven. And what I'm going to do is, I probably filled up those other ones a little bit too high. And so I've got this one that's empty over here. So what I like to do is I'll just put a little bit of water over here, and let me fill this up, and then I'll show you. Okay, I just put it like this so that that little well doesn't get burnt up while it's in the oven. So they go in for about 30 minutes. And then this is the best part. My house starts to smell amazing. You should come visit me every afternoon in the fall, because I'll give you some pumpkin bread, but also it will smell so good. The pumpkin bread is out of the oven. My house does smell amazing. And so it was in for 30 minutes, and it's nice and golden. So good. So I just take it out, and then I let these cool off a little bit. But when I wrap them, I actually wrap them while they're still a little bit warm, because I find it makes the loaves more moist. Okay, so let me move this over, and I'm going to take these out, and then I'm going to show you guys the pan sizes, okay? Because I know sometimes it gets a little bit confusing. Let me scoot you guys up a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. Ooh, still a little bit hot. Okay. All right. So you saw that it makes, if I don't fill them up too much, you saw that it makes 2 of these, right? Little pans. It makes 2 of these, but honestly, you guys, I never use this. I think it kind of falls in the middle. I can count on probably twice in all the years have I ever made it out of the big loaf pan. I do a lot of this size. So look at that. I call this the medium, and this recipe makes 5 of these. You put 1 heaping scoop in each one of these, and then you saw it makes 16 loaves if you don't fill it up too high. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I am going to take a bite of this. So warm, you guys. Actually, it's still a bit hot. You see? Mm, so good. So, so good. I really hope you try this recipe. I make muffins out of this. Sometimes I add chocolate chips. So good with chocolate chips. I put this in cake loaf pans and kind of double the recipe so I can make like several layers and then put buttercream frosting on it to die for. So I hope you guys try this recipe because I think you're going to love it. Look how moist it is. So moist. Delicious. All right. I'm going to remind you to be stronger every day. Know that you can do hard things. Remember, everything is figure outable, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.